Hey y'all, it's Burgess Taylor, our Journey with Burgess, and we are going to be working in my creative journal. This is a Taroko Design Enigma. It was an A5, and I went to Staples and had it cut down to a B6. The journal has 68 GSM Tomaway River paper in it. It's the white paper, and it was the B grade, so the dot grid is pretty light, which means it doesn't show up as much, but I can still see it. So when I'm writing things down, it gives me a little bit of a guide. That one curl, y'all. I wanted to document a plant that I received. It started blooming. Now, I'll give you a little bit of background. I used to have a black thumb, or I thought I had a black thumb. I could kill a cactus. But over the past few years, since David and I moved here, I've been planting things like roses, a wisteria tree, bush. Right now it's a bush. It's eventually going to be kind of a tree. Azaleas. We took azaleas from my mom and dad's place. My dad helped us cut them and small parts, and we brought them here, and they're doing great. I planted some veggies this past spring. Some of them bloomed. Did get cucumbers and little red tomatoes, and I did get some they were banana peppers. So I was really excited, and the cucumbers were delicious. I have some inside plants. I have a bamboo plant that's actually in here, and I have some hanging plants that, man, they grow and they grow and they hang. Eventually I want to get some hanging plants in here or in my shed when I get one. But this is something completely different. This is a bulb plant, and I tried bulb plants one time before, but they didn't end up working very at all. So this is an amaryllis, otherwise known as a flowering bulb. They are also known as belladonna lily, Jersey lily, naked lady, amarillo, and Easter lily. And mine has grown, and it has the stems, and now it has the bloom, and it is about to bloom. And I wanted to capture it before it bloomed, and then I left update after bloom over to the side of the picture of the one I took outside of it. And I'm sorry, the picture turned out a little dark. I didn't go in and edit it. That was my mistake, but that's okay, because I captured what I wanted to capture of it, and then when it blooms, I'm going to put the picture of it bloomed in there. So I'm excited because this creative journal, I showed you a flip of the first week of January and then the second week of January, but I want to do different things in it. And the reason I'm saying this is my creative journal, I have a sketch journal. I showed y'all that. That was a journal that I ordered from Bree from Documented Journey. It has a mixture of mixed media paper and Tomaway rubber paper in it. And then I have the Rock Your Notebook insert that has lined Tomaway river paper. So when I take artist dates, I can go write, I can go draw and sketch and watercolor. If I'm out and I'm doing art and I get an idea for a project or for my novel or for anything else, I can write it down in that one little insert because I have them together. But in this creative journal, I'm documenting the moments of my life that stand out, that are important, that make me go, what can I do with that? And I can add pieces of collage, and I can add pictures, and I can draw, and I can do whatever I want to in here. I'm not limiting myself in this one, whereas in the sketch journal, I really just want to sketch and watercolor in it. If I need to refer back to something, I think sometimes there will be in the creative journal or somewhere else, mostly in the creative journal, or probably in the Hobonichi cousin, I will have like a picture of something that I have done that is in the creative journal where I can actually write about it more if I need to, or in the sketchbook I can write about it more if I need to. Most of the time it will probably have to do with the sketchbook. But with this, I wanted to cover all my bases creatively. So if I felt like I wanted to swatch my watercolor palette, or I wanted to draw and watercolor my watercolor palette, because I have just revamped my watercolor palette. And like I talked about, that video is coming soon. I am going to be doing the swatching, I think, a bit differently. And I haven't quite figured out how I want to do it, except I want to use different brushes. So with this creative journal, I feel more free. And that's one of the things I wanted to talk about, because for me, in the sketch journal, things are a little bit more, I'm trying to be a little bit better. I'm practicing and trying to get better with my art. And I don't want to say things in the sketch journal have to be perfect, because there's no such thing as perfect. But I do want better sketches, better watercoloring. I take my time. I'm more patient, and in that journal. Or like if I'm out and I'm playing air sketching or something, you know, sometimes it will be a quick little sketch and I'll take a picture, and then maybe I'll do another one where it's more, where I take my time and I'm not hurrying through it. Sometimes hurrying through it, where you do a quick sketch where you're not so focused on getting everything right, allows you to see things a little bit easier, for me at least. I don't always, sometimes I'm so focused on the final product, I don't enjoy the process. And a lot of that comes from perfectionism. Perfectionism can cause you to feel such an immense amount of pressure that you either don't start, you quit, or you get derailed from your goals, from what you are doing, from your dreams, from your vision. And it can also stifle your creativity. That has happened to me a number of times. And there are some things that I've picked up along the way that have kind of helped me with that, and I thought I'd share them with you, because that's what this creative journal is all about. This creative journal is not about getting things perfect. It's not about picture perfect drawings and watercolors, watercoloring, painting. It's not about having things just right. So in order to keep me from being sidelined by the perfectionism, I think one of the big things is, for me, is not expecting perfect. That's asking for disappointment. We live in an imperfect world, and we're imperfect, and it's just not going to happen. I think you can get pretty close, but I want to have fun. I want to play with art. I want to enjoy it. I want to embrace my 5-year-old when I'm doing things in this creative journal. But sometimes it feels like in order for you to be creative, you have to get it right. You have to get it perfect. If you want to create and get better at doing something, it takes practice. And if you spend a lot of time stuck on getting things perfect, especially if it causes you to freeze up, if it causes you to quit, or it causes you not to even start, if it stifles your creativity, then that actually prevents us from even practicing, from being creative in the first place. Working on things regardless of the outcome allows us to learn. It allows us to enjoy the actual process. It allows us to play. And we learn by doing. We learn by practicing. But when we're practicing, you can remember, acknowledge that you're learning, and embrace the fun, the 5-year-old. And you don't have to think so much about the end result. You can just enjoy the process. And you can also, if you are doing and you're practicing, you can actually see your progress as you go through, like a journal. The other night, my cousin was here helping. He was fixing my dad's truck. We're almost there. We've got still a few more things. It is drivable now, but there are a few more things we have to fix. So we're fixing it along and along. I was showing him some of my older journals, and I noticed while I was showing him, it's like, wow. Now I have noticed, that whenever I sit down and I'm not filming, I'm not worried about anybody else, there's nobody around me, it's just me and a pencil or a pen, and I'm not thinking about getting it done. I'm not thinking about how the camera is or where it's at or if the lighting's good, or I can take my time and I get in the zone and I'm like, you know, and those come out much better. So one of the things I need to do for myself is sort of set things up. I have some washi tape on my desk so that I know I'm in frame, and just go and quit worrying about the camera and whether it's in frame and all of that, so that I can get in that zone when I am filming. That was one of the things I tried with this. I did do detail, not so much with the pen, but with the watercolor. I'm trying different things and experimenting and having fun and learning. One of the other things I've noticed for me is that, well, like I said, no one's perfect. We live in an imperfect world. So the best thing I can do is stay positive. Remember, it's really all about the practicing. It's all about the process. It's all about having fun, and I can gauge my progress as I go, as I flip through things in the journal or the sketchbook. And remember why I'm doing this in the first place. If I do what I'm doing because I love it and because I'm having fun and I'm learning, it's honest and authentic. That to me is perfect. If I put forth an honest effort, I've done my best. Some days my best is going to be great. Some days my best is going to be okay. Some days my best might be bad art. Not that I think bad art is a thing, but there's some art that's better than others. And that's one of the other things to remember, is it's okay to make bad art. Like I said, not that I really believe that there's bad art. I mean, I guess, but I mean, I really don't think so. Like I said, some art's better than others, but some art, even bad art, is better than no art. The big thing for me has finally come to appreciate my journey with this, with art. How far I've come with it. How much I've already learned. To acknowledge that there are things I am still learning and things I don't even know about that I need to learn. I've also learned to celebrate my mistakes, because sometimes when I'm filming, I can't, like, if you're so close to it you can't see, but when I'm in the editing process of editing the video, I can see some of my mistakes, and that helps me learn to get and get better, because I'm going, oh, well, okay, you overworked that. It was okay, you know, because that was that perfectionism telling me that it's not okay. And the last thing I think, and I've said it over and over again, but it really is the truth, at least for me, is to have fun. Not to focus on that final product. The final product can be worked on a little bit more later. I can go back to it and do a little bit more. If I'm enjoying the process and it's an honest effort, then I think I've done great, right? Because I've tried, I've learned something, I've experimented, I've had fun, you know. I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. I don't think that would be bad art. I think that would be art that I created, and I'm moving on to the next one, and I've learned from what I've created. I've had fun, and I think that's pretty perfect. So if you get into that zone, at least for me, and things are flowing, and I'm having fun, then that to me is great. Like, it's the, oh man. And I've noticed that's when my art is actually better. Like I said, if it doesn't come out right, then I've learned something from it. Like Bob Ross said, there are no mistakes, there are only happy accidents. I think we learn a great deal from those happy accidents. So when I was first doing this, I only had like a few of the stems because I wasn't following the picture that I took. I didn't take the picture until after. I was actually, or did I take the pic? I can't remember, but I wasn't looking at the picture. I might have went out and took the picture first. Hell, I don't remember because I did this the other day. I actually went into the living room, looked at the plant, studied it for a few minutes, and then came back and did my pencil drawing. So when I was halfway done, I realized that I was missing a few stems, that it looked a little awkward. So I had already watercolored the stems, so then I added some more stems and watercolored those. And at first I was like, well, what if they don't match? And I'm like, so what? The leaves aren't perfect. They don't match perfectly. Get a grip, Burgess. The leaves in nature do not match perfectly. You know, I mean, you might have 2 4-leaf clovers on one little plant, but I've never found 2 on one plant. I have a hard enough time finding a 4-leaf clover. I have a cousin who's all the time finding them, but I think that those are some of the keys. That's the big thing, is I had fun with it. After I was done and it dried, I went in with my white Signo, the gel pen, and kind of highlighted a little bit of the bulb. I went back and looked at the bulb itself and took that pen and highlighted some of the places that kind of needed to be highlighted, because I didn't want to use masking fluid on this. I'll use masking fluid on watercolor paper, but this is Tomoe River paper, so I either use Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White, or I use the gel pen or a Posca paint pen, depending on what I'm doing and how fine a line I kind of want. But I'm getting better at doing what I'm doing. And this creative journal is all about embracing the 5-year-old, documenting the moments in my life that are important to me. I have switched things around with what I'm doing. Like, I also have a sketchbook, and the sketchbook to me feels like that's the place where, once I've been practicing in the sketch journal, and that's more, the sketch journal is a little bit more serious than my creative journal, but the sketchbook to me is much more serious than the sketch journal. Although in the sketchbook I can draw things and practice, because I am taking a watercolor class with Alyssa Burke. So a lot of what I'm doing and learning is going to go in that sketchbook. And that's for study and for, you know, like I said, that I'm not saying it's for the perfect things. I'm thinking it's for the more serious things. It's for when I'm learning. My sketch journal is not quite as relaxed and free as the creative journal, but I'm free to do whatever I want to in this creative journal. In my sketch journal, I might pop a picture of something in there with what I draw, but I won't be collaging and stuff like that in it. I doubt, very seriously, unless I find a leaf or a feather or something while I'm out and about doing that, plein air sketching, urban sketching, then I might do that. I thought about putting a little envelope in the sketch journal. I don't know, but my sketchbook is where I'm going to be documenting the watercolor class I'm in, and the things I'm practicing, and the things that I'm doing, and it's a learning tool. And I have other sketchbooks, a bunch of different ones, little ones, big ones, medium ones. I'm trying to get better about doing all that. And so I'm not taking myself I'm not taking myself so seriously with this that I'm letting that perfectionism get the best of me, because I truly love watercolor and I want to get better and I want to improve. I might do some intuitive watercoloring. I might do some plopping of watercoloring. I don't know. But I'm free to do whatever I want, and I'm letting things grow organically. So I'm kind of iffy about putting too many rules on what I've got, except that I know my sketchbook is for learning, and it's the more serious, so I will be documenting my learning experience. I might be taking notes. I can add tip-ins and do whatever I want to in the creative journal. In the sketch journal, like I said, I have freedom with my art, but I don't want to add so much stuff in it that I get fixated on adding the stuff to it and not on doing the sketching and the watercoloring and stuff in it. because I really want to get better at that part too, you know. So I'm trying to get better at being creative in the creative journal, along with practicing with my watercolor and composition and collage and stuff like that. And the sketch journal, it's more about the sketching and the drawing and the watercoloring, and then in the sketchbook it's a learning tool, so I'm very serious about the learning. I think I explained that well enough. So I hope that this is kind of giving you, I could have talked about what I was doing in here, but I'm kind of one of those people that really prefer to give you more of a behind the scenes chat about why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I would be talking for about 5 or 10 minutes about what I actually did. I'm using watercolors that are Daniel Smith, Schmincke, Handmade, and Holbein in this. I took a picture with my iPhone 6 and I printed it with a zip. And eventually I will upgrade to something that has better pictures, but for now this works for me. I can go in and edit the pictures. I was so excited about doing this. I did not do that, so that was my bad. But it was a mistake. I'm fine with that. It's been kind of cloudy here, which is why that picture is darker and the shadows are in it, because it's been rainy and cloudy here. So, yeah. But that documents the weather. There's always a positive way to look at it. I hope y'all have a great day, a great one, and I will see you again real soon with another video. Bye, y'all.